Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's edition of AM Minnesota. Oh my. Mona Kaiser is in studio. She's the executive director of the Faribault Area Senior Center. And a little bit later on in the show, she surprised me. We're going to have an individual joining us via telephone from Crescendo Consulting, LLP, and we'll tell you more about that in a moment. Yes, Mona's full of surprises. We really appreciate her doing that. Those aren't going to work. There we go. My other headphones are in the drawer, but obviously Terry did not know that. He ran to get my headphones for me. Nice guy. He set up a camera for us today too, Mona.
I saw that. John is not with you today, so we got all kinds of people filling in for him.
Yeah, that was very nice of
Busy with that.
Anyway, he set up the camera for us because you can watch this on YouTube at your leisure.
I'm looking forward to that, actually. I'll link it to the Senior Center's Facebook page and our website, so we'll take advantage of that. Thanks.
You've got some exciting news, I know, that you want to reveal, but before you do that, I'm going to get this set up so I can make sure I get it on tape so I can use it on our report today, because this is
breaking news.
It is. Literally.
Yes.
It's breaking news. So go ahead, Mona. What's the exciting news that you have for us?
Well, as you and of course the listeners have been aware, we've been talking actually for 3 years about a building project for the Senior Center, a building expansion, adding on to the building to the west of our property right now. And we've been studying and talking and planning and agonizing over the decision to figure out and to decide if there is a need and if there is the ability to do something like that. And as of yesterday morning, Thursday morning, the Senior Center Board had a special meeting, and based on information of a survey or assessment that we just did, we'll talk more about, they did officially make a motion and approve, unanimously approve going ahead with the building expansion, and along with that, hiring the campaign consulting firm that will help direct that fundraising effort. So we'll be signing the contract today and starting that fundraising in May.
Are you excited?
I can hardly breathe. I'm so excited. It's really been it's been 3 years worth of work, and I'm very emotional about it, and just so pleased with the decision and what we're going to be able to provide for seniors in Faribault.
Because this will obviously provide more space, which means you could expand your programming.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. We do have a shortage of some space right now. We have a dining room and we have our activity/coffee shop area, along with some small offices, but we'll be able to really enlarge the coffee shop social area, and the dining room will be able to remain a dining room. We'll have a separate space for programming and personal care space, some extra. I think the parking is going to be a huge benefit too, along with the covered entrance. We're going to move the entrance off a division and move it onto a side street, so it'll be a lot safer as well. So there's so many benefits that Faribault will see, that it's going to be a great addition. A community, I like to think of it as a focal point for seniors, community asset as well.
So the main door will come off Division.
First, our main entrance.
First.
Yep, our main entrance. There's still, right now our parking lot comes in off of Division as well as our front door, but what we hope to do and plan to do is to make our entrance come in off of First, which is around the corner, and then we'll come in off of First, and then the front door will face First, which will give us a safer way to get in and out of our parking area.
And the parking would be expanded,
correct,
if I heard you right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It'll be expanded, and as well as handicap.
Some people, if you have a really good day,
Yeah.
at the park across the street.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, you know, we're happy to have the overflow parking, but we certainly want to have it closer especially for older adults.
Here on AM Minnesota today, some breaking news from Mona Kaiser, Executive Director of the Faribault Area Senior Center, as she announced in our first segment, of course, that they are embarking on the expansion plans. The Faribault Area Senior Center, she is so excited, I thought she was going to do backflips when she got into the studio here this morning. Joining us on the telephone, I'll let Mona do the honors of introducing our guest here this morning.
One of the things that the Senior Center did was we contracted with a consulting firm called Crescendo Consulting. After some interviews, Crescendo Consulting came on board to help us with a community assessment. And I'd like to introduce you to one of the partners, Ellen Hungerholt, who is with Crescendo Consulting and helped us complete this community assessment. So, hello, Ellen.
Hi, Mona. Good morning. And please introduce me to your radio announcer. Catch your first name.
Okay, this is Gordy.
I'm Gordy.
Gordy Cosfeld, yes, with KDHL.
Gordy.
Ah.
KDHL is last from my past. I grew up in Lake City, Minnesota, and KDHL was on the air there. So I don't know the connection, but it's great to be back.
Yeah, we used to have a studio there in Lake City. It's been a number of years now since we no longer have a studio there, but I was going to ask you if you are related to Aaron Hungerholt, who is a great basketball player for Rushford Peterson for a few years there.
Yes, instantly through my husband. That's HU. There's HU Hungerholtz and HO Hungerholtz in this area. And absolutely, it came from the same stock, same Norwegians.
Aha. I thought that. Yeah, I'm having trouble with this here mic switch. That's okay. Well, Ellen, you want to summarize what you guys found out when you did your survey, your community assessment?
Absolutely. Well, the goal of the assessment study was to outline the fundraising strategies and the general goal. It was also part of the role to recommend solutions regarding key issues, identify the campaign timeline that would work best for Faribault. Also, the idea was to interview and talk to many of your key Faribault leaders, which we did, to see if they're interested in participating and identify the favorable opportunities that exist there, which are many, and also outline any challenges so we could outline a strategy to effectively handle those. And of course, that would be the challenging conditions would be identifying any potential conflicts with philanthropic support that we found were relatively few, if any, that we're able to handle with some of the planning and the recommendations that we included. So it was a very positive study. The Senior Center is an outstanding organization, very well respected in the Faribault community. Its board, under Mona's leadership, is the executive director as well. 800 members strong and growing. You know, we know in our country, most of us, well, a lot of us, baby boomers, and that approaching that senior center needs in that area or in it. And so it's really important. We're different than seniors of 20 and 30 years ago, and we have new needs. And you know, the only reason organizations exist is to serve needs. So the senior board outlined the necessity for this expansion, and it was our role to determine and outline a strategy for an effective campaign and a general goal that we could fundraise. And we were able to do that. So we're really excited to be able to help with this project. My business partner, Laura Eddy, and I have completed about 30 campaigns in the Midwest, primarily in small to medium-sized communities. These also have specific connections to municipal facilities, as this center will and does. So it's just, we're really thrilled about it and ready to get started.
We really had a fabulous turnout, and we had great information that we've received from that from the interviews. Gordy, I think that I think that you would be able to talk to anybody that we interviewed, and they would be able to tell you how pleased they were to be invited and how happy they are that we're going ahead with the project.
So that's fantastic, Mona. So what's the next step?
Well, yesterday was the first day that we made the motion and approved it, so now we will be starting to put a timeline together and launch the pre-campaign. As I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Ellen, the pre-campaign will be a 4-month timeline, is that right?
That's right. And during that time, we will pull together volunteers who will work in about 4 different areas of developing the case statement, which is the rationale for the project, the communications plan, that's always really important. You know that, Gordy. Outlining, there will be a steering committee that will oversee the whole campaign process. We'll also have a building committee, a prospect committee, and these 75 or so individuals will all be working in different tasks as we lay the foundation for the campaign. We will not be soliciting any funds until we're ready to do that. As Mona mentioned, that will be about 4 months to get us to that point.
I was just going to ask you about a timeline. You already answered that, didn't you?
Right, and then we're ahead of it. No, I'm kidding. We have those first 4 months where we're planning, and it's so critical because we want to be sure that we're successful, and so the goal is to be sure that we're really well prepared. Then we'll start soliciting, and that process generally takes around 4 months or so. This total process that my business partner and I employ takes about a year. Sometimes it takes a little more. Now, we're after the recession. It's not taking quite as much as it did during those more those sort of tough times, but fundraising still existed then, and we still completed campaign goals at that time. And we don't anticipate any major challenges that we couldn't overcome. As I said, the study was very, very positive.
You mentioned that we're different than the seniors of today. Our generation is, Ellen, so I'd like you to just piggyback on that a little bit if you could. What exactly do you mean?
Well, I believe Mona was identified this, or her board did, that there is a fitness component that is needed, a physical fitness component, balance and energy and all sorts of these sorts of things. We don't, do you remember the Carol Burnett show where Tim Conway and Carol sat on the rocking chairs in the porch? And seniors of today, we don't do that anymore so much until maybe our bodies aren't able to. We're active, our brains are moving, we're learning, we're constantly looking forward to what's next. And so that evolution it's different today than what senior centers were in the past. And the myriad of programs that Mona's center and her board provide are indicative of that. They show all that, and they want to do more, and they can't right now because they're so limited in their space. They have programs that have to be held in the hallway. That's not good. So this is going to be really exciting. It's just going to, I believe, members are going to increase because they're going to be able to provide services that those seniors of today want and need.
No, Mona was nodding her head in approval during your entire topic.
Well, she actually says a lot of the things that we've been talking about.
Sure.
The social space is very important. Socialization is a key component to aging. Keeping our minds active and staying connected and increasing a simple thing like social space is a benefit to people as they age, along with the fitness piece, the safety piece, the additional programming.
I know on this show program before you have emphasized that you guys are fiscally responsible, that you are not going to do anything until you get every nickel you need.
Our plan is still the same, that we plan to raise the money before we move forward. We don't want to take any chances with the organization's financial situation, and so the board has approved moving ahead this way so that there will be no risk to the organization.
You determine what you need?
We are going to undertake a campaign of 1.9 to 2.1 million. So 1.9 is really what we're going to be starting with. Mm-hmm.
And obviously, Ellen, your firm determined that that's doable here in Faribault.
Yes, it is.
Nice.
I don't need to add any more to that, but it is. There's the support from the philanthropic community that's necessary to do this. When we looked at the study, and if anybody's interested in looking at the study, they give Mona a call, and she has some extra booklets available that could be emailed or sent to somebody. But what we initially looked at was a goal that was a little higher, and that goal was not as strongly embraced as the 1.9 million is. That goal was a little higher, 2.3 to 2.6. And so this is a more conservative goal. It's certainly something that the organization will still be able to provide the services and the facility that it wants to provide for the community with lasting benefits that will be in existence for generations. But there are some ways that the board has carefully looked at opportunities for some cost cutting, and they're able to do that. So it's just a smart move all along. It's a little more conservative goal than what had initially been looked at. Still a lot of money, but this can be done. My business partner and I raised these sorts of goals sometimes in communities of 1,000 to 2,000 people, and so it's not no campaign is a slam dunk. They all take time and effort and planning and preparation, and we're prepared to do that.
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear that you guys don't just dive into it either. You're going to get your ducks in a row before you start doing it, Ellen.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, they're a very experienced firm, and we made sure that we found a firm that fit with our board of directors and with what we believe is will be accepted by the community and by our membership. And so Ellen and her partner Laura are a good fit, a perfect fit for the Faribault Senior Center, and we're all going to get to know them a lot better in the near future. There's one comment that one of the board members made yesterday that I actually made I actually wrote down, and it's not verbatim, but to the actual quote, but what he said was, "We all rest in the shade of trees we did not plant." And what that means to us is we are doing this for the future seniors of Faribault, and they are taking this step, a big step, a bold step, to do something that will be a legacy, just like the people, the Warren Sanborns and the Margaret Johnsons and all of those people that did it originally over 20 years ago.
I think they're smiling right now, don't you?
That's what makes me a little teary, is when I think about people that are gone. You know, Margaret was a big cheerleader, and so was Warren. They were big cheerleaders for us, and they got us to where we are. And so they planted that tree, which now we are able to be part of, and now we get to do it for someone else.
I like the way that's worded.
I know. It's not verbatim from quote that we tried to research, but it certainly is a summary of a synopsis of the message. So I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it, Ellen?
It is very poignant, and it's true. We mentioned sometimes for the latter part of our case statements, we share some of the same thoughts. You know, we sit on park benches that somebody had a role in getting there by purchasing land for beautiful parks. You know, Faribault has tremendous quality of life assets, and this would be another one to add to that. You have a community that has so much to offer. And this, as Mona said, this is something that's being planned for the future. And good planners, excellent leaders in cities, wonderful civic leaders, they all know that. And you are poised and you're going to be prepared for the future, for Faribault. So it's a beautiful quote, excuse me, and it's very accurate. You know, we sit in pews in our churches where you know, folks have given money to establish churches years and years and years, if not centuries before. So that's true. Philanthropy is nothing new, and we hope it will be around for a long time because Americans we're so about giving to help others, to support our needs for now and in the future. And Laura and I are extremely excited to be part of this wonderful effort.
You know, we probably do have a home or two here in Faribault, Ellen, that you or Laura could purchase and move here. Love our community that much.
They'll be spending enough time here, I'm sure. So, but yeah. Well, Ellen, thank you so much for being part of this with us this morning. I kind of threw you a curveball this morning when I asked if you'd be willing, and Gordy as well. So, but I knew that you had a lot of information to share and enthusiasm for all of the people in Faribault that are going to be watching us.
Absolutely, and we hope they'll be interested in participating. You know, not everybody likes to ask for money. We know that. One quote said it ranks right up there with public speaking and death. But we help prepare folks for how to do that, and not everybody wants to do that, so there's a lot of other wonderful jobs that are tremendously time-consuming that people could be a part of. You will have fun. I guarantee you will have fun, and you will make an impact on this community for a long time. So if anybody is interested in volunteering for a few months, just a short time, we have 1-hour meetings for each of these task forces once every 2 weeks on one day that we'll determine. So if anybody is interested in assisting, please give them a call.
I'm going to let you go, okay, Ellen? I know you got probably other things you want to get to.
Thank you. Wonderful.
You bet.
Talking with you. Bye-bye.
Ellen Hungerholt, who's a partner in Crescendo Consulting LLP, joining us this morning on our AM Minnesota program. And boy, Mona, it sounds like you picked the perfect firm.
She and her partner Laura are a great team, and they are going to be a real good fit for us. So, absolutely, it's exciting. Can you feel it?
Yeah, I can see that. You're pretty excited.
Yeah.
No question about that.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned, it's been a long time for
Right.
yourself and the board.
Right, 3 years actually when we started. In fact, I can even take it back further than that, because when the original building got put up, they wanted a larger space, and it just wasn't financially feasible at that time. And so the plan was, even when they built the original space, was to do a larger space someday. And so the building, the space adjacent to us, you know, had been kind of set aside for our plans someday, and I think someday has come. So yeah, it's been a long time coming.
And she talked about the legacy piece, and I'm sure you'll be talking to some organizations about, you know, if you're making out your will or whatever, and you're thinking about what you want to do to pass on your legacy in the community. What a great way to pass on your legacy.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, we have people that come to our center every single day. You know, whether it's for a meal or for a social activity, every day. And what a great way for and some of those people are gone. And very often, in fact, the Margaret Johnson family actually gave memorial money to us 3 years ago for this project, and so that would be very welcome and appreciated. So as we move forward, there'll be great opportunities for people.
And if people want to get more information about how they can do that, I'm sure they can contact you.
Absolutely. It's very preliminary. Like I said, it was just yesterday, but the next 3 to 4 months are going to tell a lot, and we will be very organized, and we will be very ready to go in that amount of time.
But the foresight to put that facility where it's at, right next to the senior, or to the library and to the community center, that was perfect.
It was. I think I've said this on your show before, but I remember a couple of months ago there was a lady that I ran into in the hall, and she said, "I've been here all day." She said, "I played pickleball in the gym this morning, then I came and had coffee at the senior center, walked over to the library, I got to go home for a few minutes, and then I'm coming back to play bridge." She says, "I've been here all day." So I think that's just the coolest thing.
Yeah, you don't have to drive anywhere or walk anywhere, or, you know, you could just be right in that one facility and partake in all those activities.
The people that arranged it to have it, we are really, people envy, other senior centers envy our location, because really we do have everything that everybody else wants.
You don't have to put a pool in your senior center. There's already one there.
Correct. And the fitness space that we expect to have is not going to have fitness equipment in it, because that also is available in this building already. It'll be more open space for senior-friendly classes.
Like
yoga.
Aerobics or something.
Yoga for seniors is one of the topics right now. Tai Chi and some of those stretching, range of motion things that people really want to do to stay physically active as they age.
And we have to keep moving in order for it to keep working.
Absolutely. Yeah, people are looking for that space, and to have our own space will be super nice. The partnership with the city is tremendous. We have a great relationship with them, and we expect that to even grow with this expansion.
Fantastic. So that's the big news today. Faribault Area Senior Center, you're going to be seeing in the not too distant future.
Not too distant future. You'll be hearing more about it. We'll be looking for volunteers, and then starting the capital campaign in a couple of months.
Yeah, so keep that in mind. And, you know, I love that quote.
I know.
We all rest in the shade of trees we did not plant.
Yeah, I know. I think it's perfect. And how nice that they look at it that way.
How true that is.
Yeah. So thank you for this.
Wow. Poetic here this morning. That concludes today's edition of Ham Minnesota. I want to thank Ellen for being with us as well on the telephone. She got kind of thrown into the mix late, so we appreciate her doing that. That concludes, as I mentioned, the show. You're in tune to KDHL.